Hello everyone. So the first Leetcode question that we're going to solve is two sum. So basically what we are given is that we are given an array of integers now called as nums, and we have to find a target and return the indices of the two numbers such that they add up to target. So this is what the question is asking. There are some assumptions about the question. One is that each input would have exactly one solution and you may not use the same element twice. So it's saying that we can't use the same element twice. What it means is that if we have an array nums here and we have an element 2 here, so this element 2 at index 0, this can't be used twice. If we have an array like this, 2 and 2, these two are different elements. So in this case, we can actually use these two elements. Now, let's say in this example, what we have to return. So in this question, we have the target as 9 and we have 4 elements here. So to have a target of 9, we will need two elements, 2 and 7. Now 2 is at index 0 and 7 is at index 1. So our answer should return 0 and 1. And this is mostly the example for this. Let's discuss if we have an input of 4, target of 4, and our input looks like this: 1, 2 and 3. What would the answer to this question? So 1 and 3 adds up to 4 and the index of 1 is 0 and the index of 0 is 2. So we will return 0 and 2 as solution for this question, for this example. Now let's discuss the brute force approach that we'll take in order to solve this problem. So as we can iterate over the array using two for loops, what we can do is, let's say we have an I and we have a j that starts with next to just one forward to I. Our j will go forward, forward, forward and again, and we will take two elements and we'll try to check whether it's equal to the target or not. So if it is equal to target, then we can safely return I and j. The question says that the returning of I and j in no order, they don't care about that order. But as you can see, if we do this double for loop to find the elements which are equal to the target, we know that in that case the time complexity will be big O of n square, right? So is there any optimized solution that we can think of? There is. In the brute force solution, there is one thing that we have to notice is that we are not using any auxiliary space in the solution, right? Because we are just iterating over the array with one inner loop. So, and we are not creating any auxiliary space. So the space used in this problem will be constant. Now let's discuss an optimized solution, how we can come up with an approach. Let's say my input is 2, 6, 7, and 11. Let's say I am at 7, which is at index 2. I only need to know, and the target is 9. So when I am at 7, I only need to know if there is a 2 that exists in the array. If the 2 exists in the array, what I can do is I can store that index of 2 as well. So when I am at 7 and my target is 9, why do I have to look whether there is a 2 in the array or not? Because some number x plus y is equal to target. Let's say y is 7. Then what would be the x here? X will be 9 minus 7, which is 2. So if we find a 2 in the array, then we can return the index of the current element and the index of the element that 2 was therein. Now how can we know the index of 2? So what we'll do, let's see an example and go through it to see how it's following. So we start from this element. Let's say this is my map. Okay. So this is at index 0, 1, 2 and 3 and target is 9. Now I'm at 2. I need to know whether 7 is there in the map or not. It's not. So I can just store 2 at index 0. This is the number and this is the index. Now I go to 6. I need to check in the map whether there is a 3 in the array or not. There is not. So I just store 6 at index 1. Now I commit 7, and I need to see whether there is a 2 in the map or not. There is, right? So in that case, we can simply return the map, the index of the 2 in the map and the current index 2, right? So we will return this answer. So in this case, what we did is, which is iterate over the array once, but we have created some auxiliary space, because in worst case, we can iterate through all the elements and not find a solution, or we found a solution in exactly the end. So in that case, the space complexity will also be linear. Okay. So why the time complexity will be linear? Because we are iterating through the array only once. Space complexity will be linear because we are creating a map with store nums and their indexes, right? So in this case, if we iterate through the array and we reach till the end of the array, in that case, we will be storing all the elements in the map. So space is complexity is also linear to the size of the array. Let's discuss the pseudocode for this. So how does the interface looks like? The interface is saying that there is an array nums and there is a target. We created a map. Then we went through, as we discussed, we are trying to go through each element once. We tried to see what is the remaining number. If we subtract from the number the current number that we have to look in the map. If the map has rem, the remaining number, then we can return the index of rem and the I, right? And otherwise, we will simply insert the current number and the index of that number. If we never find a number in our loop, then in that case, we can safely return -1 and -1. So this concludes our first question on Leetcode. Thank you.